Hey nerds! Sage is here, so funny thing is, I was pretty certain that the voting gauntlet was going to start tonight for some reason, but then I realized that today is actually the 6th instead of the 7th, or the 8th. I don't know why I thought it was like the 8th. I must be losing track of time, mostly because of my sleep deprivation. But everything feels better now, so I figured we'd talk about something pretty interesting as it comes down to units, and a lot of you wanted to know what was going down and talking about, you know, well, I guess the next Grand Hero battle would probably be something pretty exciting. So, before we do that, let's try and summon a bit and hope my capture card doesn't die, because it keeps doing that occasionally and it's really worrying. But anyways, I'm still gonna try for Olivia. I still need to capture her. It's like a weird game of Pokemon, only a lot better. Wow. Okay, that was something I'm not used to doing. I think I might be slowly losing my mind. Technically, we've kind of already talked about odd combinations before when it came to heroes and what could happen with, you know, units and things like that, but we might, judging on what you might believe, I mean, there's a lot of you out there who might be like, oh, no, that's not going to happen ever, and, you know, there's a few of you who are genuinely excited for what might possibly be Arvis, because for those who don't know, and I guess I'll just go send home an ally, and I need to work on my units again. I'm going to be grinding a lot when I can and just talking about things. And a lot of you have been asking me how I've been doing leveling up my ranged units. I can show you, but Phoenix Master already kind of did a really great video on that. You can go check it out, but if you really want me to do it, I will show you how to do it. Still, nonetheless, you know what? I don't need another Niles. I will say goodbye to him. Alright, so let's talk about the next Grand Hero battle, okay? At least the one that we genuinely believe is going to be, you know, coming. Because, again, this is going back to the leak that we had. The leak that predicted, you know, Black Knight was going to be Tempest Trial Reward, and that Nephany was going to be in the banner with the Lindsay and Oscar. And they also predicted a few other things. So chances are, they also pointed out, by the way, that Rachel was not going to be in any banner for the next few months. So, sorry, guys. Still, nonetheless, we need to talk about the Grand Hero battle that's coming, and probably, you know, we'll be talking about, or at least predicting what might be in the next banner in another video. But I figured we'd have some fun and talk about Arvis, because I'm going to glance over the story. You know, I'm not going to be too worried about that. We're going to talk about how he might work in the game, because, well, a lot of you were like, well, actually not a lot of you, but some of you pointed out that the leak specifically mentioned that Arvis was going to be an armored mage, which is odd, but I guess I can kind of understand that to get a better idea. Arvis kind of, I mean, the way he works is that he does have a tome. He's a pretty big, at least he had a signature tome in his game. That was Valflame. That was something that he had the right to, you know, use, and I believe it was because of it was one of the holy weapons of the game, if I recall correctly. And he was a descendant of Fala, which meant he had the bloodline to actually use this weapon. So, naturally, it's a very, I mean, it's a signature weapon. Chances are it's going to be something that's going to be a part of his kit. If it is, it will probably, well, be there, so. Or they could just give him, you know, Arvis's tome and call it a day. But chances are he is going to be a red tome user, just because, well, in case you didn't know, almost all these tomes that are here, be it whatever they are, they're all fire-based that are in reds. You know, lightning is, I believe, blue, and green, of course, is wind and all that other nonsense. But still, that's pretty much what we do know, at least if we can put together with Arvis. But the thing is, there's a lot of contrasting ideas. Some of you are like, well, I know a lot of you actually really love Genealogy of the Holy War, and I know a lot of you are looking forward to it, so I don't want to, you know, go too deep into it, because, again, I'm not exactly an expert on genealogy, obviously, but he does have two unit types that he has in the game. When he started off in the prologue, he was a simple sage, which, you know, in a mage class, but towards the end he is redefined as an emperor class, which emperor was something that oftentimes showed up in the game, in, you know, several games, and usually when they showed up in the game, They had every weapon available. You know, they had sword, lance, axe, bow, you know, whatever, and I guess technically a tome. So naturally, when it comes to Arvis, there's a chance that he may be a simple mage, and I know some of you might not be too happy about that, but I mean, to give you a better idea, I think we do need some stronger red mage units, and I don't know how well an armor mage would work, but you know, that's a other thing altogether. But then again, you know, the Emperor class is something that's really odd, and it's not something that I don't know if we've actually had one in the game at all, up until probably Arvis now. But, you know, I could be wrong. I could be very much out of my element there. But I do think we do need some more vital, you know, armor units that could be interesting. If he is perhaps actually an armored mage, that's going to provide an interesting possibility. And of course, Valflame also kind of had its own special effects, which, at least in the original game, when he used it, he would be granted... let me just pull this up real quick, if I could recall correctly. Let's see. Yes, it granted bonus of plus 10 magic, plus 10 defense and resistance, which means that it made him pretty bulky. They could potentially use that as well in, well, Heroes. They can make a very special tome for him, and I'm hoping that if they do, you know, it will be living up to his, you know, kind of image. If he is going to be an armored mage, I'm hoping that this will maybe grant him that defense, maybe give him something like a sturdy, you know, a sturdy blow, or the mixture of it with, you know, I forget what it is, with the mixture of attack, you know, death blow and sturdy, but still something that might give him a bit more bulk, or maybe some resistance as well. Something that might be fascinating to have on a good old-fashioned armored unit that could really use it. Do I actually think it's going to happen? I don't know. But when people point this out to me, they always say, "Can you believe in an armored mage?" Yeah, that's interesting. We have a lot of great armored units, but I don't know how well that is going to translate into the game if he really is that. Mostly because, well, it's that's a really niche thing, and right now, outside of a little bit of Armored Emblem, I really don't know if it's going to be that great. I mean, at least this way, you know how Takumi showed up recently? If he really is truly going to be an armored mage, we might actually finally have a use to give close counter outside of maybe Henry. Or possibly, I guess, I forget if it's not Bowie, but Merrick as well. And that's going to be a very odd one, at least from what I recall of Merrick. I could be very wrong on Merrick, because, let's face it, I really don't use him very much, and yeah, he was the bulky mage I was thinking about a little bit. And maybe this was a sure sign of it, by which I mean this just randomly showing up. Hey, gee, look, there's Takumi. And there's all that fun stuff. Who would have thought, huh? Who would have thought? Ah, man. But, give or take, either way, if he is a normal mage, we definitely need another good, strong red mage in the game. Mostly because right now, the only really powerful red mages that I can, you know, put forward... I mean, Sonaki does well enough. Tharja does just as well. And Celica is pretty good, but Katarina and, you know, Leo, both Leos, I guess, don't really function, at least outside of, you know, a Cavalier team. Leo, of course, being our only Cavalier red mage. So, we do need some stronger position, you know, in their ranks. We do need a stronger red tome unit, and Arvis can definitely fill that void if he... One, manages to keep his, you know, good stats. If he is an armor emblem, you know, an armored unit, that means that his stats are going to be a little bit higher because, of course, his BST is going to be stronger. That means that, potentially, he could be a pretty bulky unit with a ranged attack, which would be phenomenal. You know, stick close counter on him like Takumi, just kill a Takumi, and maybe you'll be happy with it. I don't know. But, you know, considering the fact that, you know, the blue ranks have pretty much evolved quite a bit, I mean, you know, now we have, you know, Sheeta, at least Bride Sheeta, we have May, we have Delthea, we have, you know, Corrin, you know, Summer Corrin. These are all units that have kind of grown into it, and greens are also expanding. Red are probably the only tome units that are actually dwindling when it comes to it. So I'm really hoping Arvis can, you know, pull in there and be pretty fascinating. But Valflame is something that's signature to him, at least. Something that he used quite brutally, should I add. Pretty much he just... I don't want to spoil that, but let's just say that he did execute a few people with it. So naturally, this is something that should be signature to him. And I swear to God, if they do a, you know, Arvis's Tome, and if for some reason they decide to change it up because of these leaks, holy crap, that's going to be weird. So, yeah. But for those who want to know when he's coming, I really can't tell you. They have not published a roadmap. They have not published a schedule at all after nearly 2 to 3 months of doing so for us, which is kind of a big deal because I think that means that there's a big storm coming, mostly from Sacred Coins, among other things. Maybe they're scrambling because of the leaks. Who knows? It's really hard to tell, but I would really love to see Arvis in the game, and I would really like him to keep his tome, and maybe if he is an armored mage, that would be fantastic. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. I would love to hear it. So for now, though, I'm going to go to bed. Well, actually, when this is going live, I should be going to bed. I should be in bed. This will be up pretty late. I usually, for those who don't know, I'm trying to make it so there's going to be a video usually around midnight to 3 a.m. It depends on if I think there's going to be news or not. I'm going to try and schedule around that. And then, of course, there's going to be a video at 4 p.m. that's just going to be random nonsense. Or, you know, and then there's silly videos that I might just sprinkle where I need to. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I've been enjoying my time. I just recorded all of these videos. This is actually the last one I've recorded. So, I'm pretty excited. And I'm pretty hungry, so I think I might actually go eat. So, have a lovely day, guys. See you very soon.